Hello everybody, welcome to my Destroy All Humans countdown. Yes, that's right, I'm pinching this idea off of my good friend from the JFS, Weathermaster. He did a similar thing when it came to the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, where every now and then, semi-regularly, he would give a little update video, seeing how the game is shaping up and hyping its release as it got closer and closer to the big launch day. And he did that because Pokemon is his favourite game, and as I'm sure many of you know, one of my favourite games is Destroy All Humans, so I'm going to do the same. And now that we know the release date, let's get things started. I thought for this first episode we would take a look at the release date trailer, the whole reason we know it's coming out on July 28th. So yeah, it came with a little trailer. It's not a long one, but it did have some interesting footage and stuff to sort of delve into, some screenshots and analysis, so yeah. Let's take a look. Let me know how you think the game is shaping up. I really want this to be a very interactive series as we count down and get the hype going. So when I was watching it, I did write down a few stuff that I thought caught my eye. The first one being, if you take a look, it starts off the same way that the original game starts, with the little news broadcast by the news guy. And I think this bit in particular is really interesting in that it highlights just how much the style has changed for this remake and how different it is from the original. Now, I'm in two minds about whether or not this style change is a good thing or a bad thing. If you put them side by side, you can see just how much more sort of exaggerated and cartoonish this remake is going to look. And I think on one hand, that's kind of good because it's a very silly game. It's a very cartoony game. It potentially works to be that style. But on the other hand, and I remember reading this as a comment, the game works so well because it is so ludicrous, but it kind of takes place in a sort of realistic environment. The models are realistic, and the setting is realistic. So that's why it's as good, and you're doing as crazy stuff because it's sort of juxtaposed so much. And I gotta admit, I think, in my opinion, looking at this remake of the news anchor, it just doesn't look very expressive. It looks very stiff. It looks very... just compared to the original, definitely not as expressive, which is weird because you'd think now they'd have the ability to do motion capture, they'd be able to do way more with the animation of it, but it just looks kind of flat. And that's a bit worrying because, to me, for this first bit, the original looks better. That's just how I feel. And it has more of that sort of old 50s broadcast sort of thing. So obviously this is very early days, the game is not yet released, but judging by just this one little cutscene, I don't know. But yeah, moving on, we get some nice footage of weapons being used. So you've got the Zap-O-Matic, obviously, you've got the anal probe, and you've got the disintegrator ray. And one of the things I've always said, whether it be in Let's Plays or live streaming Destroy All Humans games, is that I'd love to see how the weapons look. Now we've got proper high definition and really nice graphics. Because, they looked cool and fun on PS2 and whatnot. But imagine what they're going to look like now. And so we're sort of getting a glimpse of that. We're getting a look at how, with the disintegrator ray, you shoot and then they turn into a skeleton. It's like ashes. Looks really cool. The Zap-O-Matic lightning looks fine, and so does the anal probe. Perhaps not as interesting. But yeah, disintegrator ray, that looks good. I do hope there's going to be some crazy weapons. I don't know whether they're going to add in new weapons, probably not, but at least with the other weapons, really kind of amp up the explosions, amp up the effects, make the most use that we can now of these modern day gaming consoles and computers that we have. So that's looking good, but I'd like to see a little bit more. If we go on a little bit further, you can see a little glimpse of the boss battle with General Armquist. So I remember the boss battle not being particularly interesting in the original. It's not very long and it's not very difficult if you can stay out of the way of the missiles. But just this tiny bit we see, it just looks a lot more grand. It looks, I guess a part of that is to do with the fact that, the distance, you can see a lot further, the rendering distance, and it's just everything's brighter. That's looking really good. There's a massive crater on the side there. I'm not quite sure what that's about, if that's just a part of the scenery or if that's related to like one of the attacks he does. I can't really make that out, but yeah, so there's the boss battle with Armquist. And you do see a tiny little bit of the missiles that he shoots, so that seems like it's going to remain fairly similar. Maybe they'll change his attack pattern though, who knows. Other bits I looked at was the destruction physics. There's a part where, well, there's a few parts, but one part stood out to me where a building gets destroyed, and it does look very nice, like all the bits crumbling, and that's what you kind of want is like the physics of Red Faction games tied to the weapons of Destroy Humans, right? That'd be amazing. Like you can blow up buildings and they actually destroy realistically. Oh, so good. I don't think this game's going to have that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But they still look nice regardless, so that's always good. Later on, you can see Crypto use a bit of his PK abilities, and he's hovering a tank, and it changes colour, like the bubble of PK around it changes from a bluish to a more reddish. I don't know what that means. I might need to go back and check some gameplay to see if that's been shown, but does that mean like you're charging up the ability to shoot it out, or is that like some meter, or is that like push and pull difference? I don't know. That's a bit intriguing to me, why it changed colour so much. But yeah, it's a really quick trailer. It's only about a minute long, so there's not too much to look in there, but it is nice to see all the locations in their remastered state. At least I think it's all of them. I'm pretty sure. You've got Turnip Seed Farm, Rockwell, Santa Modesta, Capital City, Area 42, and Uniontown. So yeah, I think that's all of them. So that's nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this little release date trailer. So not much, but still nice to see. Please do leave a comment below with your thoughts on how the game is shaping up. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this first countdown video, and thank you to Weathermaster for the idea. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.